Good morning, everybody. A little late, but it's still morning. Got some things to talk about. Let's start off with what happened first. When the Democrats won the election in Wisconsin, and but Musk lost about $20 million or so during that election. One of the things I found out about is that there's going to be an election in that Supreme Court every year. So this isn't over yet. You know, it's over until next April, I guess. So screw the victory lap, folks. Get back to work. You know, it's going to be a long, long fight. And this is going to be... Next comes a statement from Trump that's, I guess, going to be as famous as Marie Antoinette's "Let them eat cake." Now, first of all, you have to set the scene for this. The French Revolution was primarily based upon a disparity between the rich and poor. And then it was the way the poor were being treated by the rich. But it was basically the disparity between rich and poor. We have that going on in the United States right now, where 98% of the wealth is held by about, I think, something in the neighborhood of 3%, 2 to 3% of the people. It's amazing, isn't it? So you don't think that people are going to get upset? Now, the reason that this disparity that doesn't cause serious problems in Russia is because of the military and the command that Putin has over the military. And the fact that, he knows how to do it because he took 160,000 people and drafted them yesterday. So, it's that keeps the peace and quiet in there. But what you're doing here is you put an idiot like Musk and shit. Now, I'm not saying that he's an idiot. He just doesn't know. He's not 100% capable of doing what he says he's doing because he doesn't understand what he's doing to the American public because he doesn't care. So we have this situation where you have this 2 or 3% controlling all the money. So long as everything's running along cool, which it was a few weeks ago, it's all right. But now you have this Dodge thing going, or Doge thing, whatever you want to call it. Musk cutting the economy. Now, do I believe there's a lot of waste in government? Yes, I do. But I do believe that there's a better way of doing it than the way he's doing it. All right? And there's a way to get some of the wasted money back, but they don't want to do it that way. Like I said, I don't have answers, I just have theories. So my thing is that you're laying off people, you're giving people away, you're creating a greater disparity. Well, they say we picked up 156,000 jobs. The job report is kind of crazy. It's not what you would call accurate. Because if you go back to work and you're making $5 an hour, you're working. The fact that you're not making a livable wage or you're not making anywhere near what you were making 2 weeks ago doesn't mean anything. It's just you've got a job. So the statistics are rather misleading at times. The long-range forecast isn't good right now, okay? And this disparity, that's where I think this line couldn't care less. It's going to be really, 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 really dangerous, and it's going to become an infamous line. Just as Marie Antoinette, I don't know whether she actually said this, but it's considered something she said, "Let them eat cake." Well, Trump's going to be hearing that a lot. However this turns out, Trump is going to go down in history as one of the most disruptive presidents ever. and probably one of the most despised, if not the most despised president in history. There have been a couple others that ran close. But this is going to be really horrendous, and it's that disparity that's going to cause all the problems between the rich and the poor. I mean, he's putting tariffs on people, and I have to be honest with you, I don't understand how that really works, but my understanding that if you tax the imports of another country, that country doesn't pay for it. Americans pay for it. The workers pay for it. The customers in the long run pay for it. And we're already seeing the stock market just deteriorating. And I don't understand all about the stock market either. And I've never really thought it was legitimate sign of anything, because it can be manipulated so easily. I know some people, and I was friends with the people that did it. Oh God, when I was in high school, back in the 60s, they manipulated a stock quite easily with just dropping a rumor. In a I don't know whether it was in a restaurant or a cafeteria in the building or something, or in the men's room. I don't know how they did it, but they dropped a rumor and destroyed it. It made a penny stock worth millions of dollars, and people made a lot of money until they found out what was going on. But by then they had sold off all their stuff. So this is a huge thing going on now, and you see it with one of the GameStop was one of those meme stocks that played around and everybody made tons of money, and but it was a game. Now they're going into Bitcoin, which is I don't like Bitcoin, and I'm not worried about it, but because I won't be around that much longer, I don't think. But Bitcoin is a horrible investment, because it is very easy for it to be wiped out. It is the most hacked commodity in the world right now, and they're very good at it. And the Russians are and Chinese are leading the charge, and they would love to see our economy become Bitcoin based. Okay, so, and the security is extremely difficult to get to put in place. All right, it's easy to beat, difficult to put in place. That's just the way it's designed. If you notice real closely, Elon Musk's fortune is not in Bitcoins. He has money in Bitcoins. Don't get upset. Don't say he does. I can't say he doesn't. He does, but it's not what you're looking at. What you think it is, anyhow. But I remember in high school, I think the number was 27% of the American public controlled 90% of the wealth in the United States. And we used to talk about that back then, the disparity. It was an issue, what's going to happen, But the economy was good, everybody was good, The wealthy people just sat there and got rich. They didn't go around trying to run the government like they are now. This is going to cause some serious problems. You push us one step closer to, I'm not going to call it a civil war, I'll call it a revolution. And just remember, Donald should remember what happened to Marie Antoinette and her husband and a lot of the others there. They went out and invented a special machine called a guillotine, just to handle them, just so they could kill them publicly, execution. So, we'll have to see what happens. Trump doesn't fully control the military. The military is going to take a few years to convert it over to a totalitarian military, because it's been trained to follow the Constitution. They swear oaths, and most of those people take it pretty seriously. I swore an oath to the Constitution. I did, when I went in the National Guard. Um, and that was my way of avoiding the draft and my way of avoiding the Vietnam War, which I had no interest because I knew we weren't going to win it. If we were going to go over there and fight a real war, not a money war, I would have gone in a heartbeat. You know, like World War II. But that wasn't like World War II. This war was designed to make a lot of people rich, and it did. It was designed to support the industrial military complex, and it did. Until it just got too expensive and the American public stood up and said, hey, we don't want our boys going over there anymore. You know? The casualties weren't anywhere near World War II, and they just didn't think that it was worth it. One man, never mind 50,000. So, and if you looked at the New York Times kill rate, we killed more than the population of Vietnam, so I don't know how the hell there's anybody still living over there, if that was true. And, you know, the distances, you know, and this one's not going to be a distance. This one's going to be next door to Trump. You know, you watch, Trump will plan, if Trump plans to go and spend any length of time traveling like to Russia or China or any of those type of countries that are not really close to us, there's a great possibility that you'll see some sort of military action take against civilians. First of all, he'll be out of the country so he can, you know, shove the plane away, but I don't think so, you know. I think that it's a combination of some really bad shit gonna happen. So we'll see what happens down the road. I mean, that's just opinions, you know. Hey, don't get excited. You know, this is just my opinion. But I've like I started to say before, I did a lot of work on this when I was in high school, and we studied it based upon what happened in France during the French Revolution. Now, that's somewhat different than the American Revolution, in that our revolution was based on we didn't want to be told what to do by a king. In France weren't pissed off at the king, although that was the end of the royalty. They were pissed off by the rich people, that 1% or whatever it was, and how they controlled everything and how they made life so miserable for the poor people. And that's what Trump's doing. He's not making life miserable. He's giving a tax cut. How much of that money are you going to see? If they give you a $1,000 tax cut, that's not $1,000 off you. That's a $1,000 deduction that you can take. And you say, okay, I'm going to be rich. And when you break it down, it comes down to maybe $20 a week, something like that. I forgot what happened when they did it when I got it, a tax cut. It's doesn't mean anything. Okay, they're just. Trump thinks this is a money-making proposition. This has nothing to do with quality of life or anything. He believes this is a money-making proposition for him and his people. And I'm not sure it's going to work for his people any more than it's going to work for me. All right? I just went down, you know, and I've lived here a long time. I lived here in Colombia for 20 years. And I remember the prices and everything like that. We could go out to dinner and have filet mignon for 6 people, and it cost us about $18 or something like that. Now, hamburger, when you do the calculations and you do the exchange rate, hamburger costs me $10. You know, it's just strange. Some things are cheaper, some things are more expensive. Anyhow, I'm going to take off now. Do me a favor, please. Hit the like button, just so I know that there's somebody alive out there. You can do the like button. You can subscribe. Subscriptions don't cost you anything. I don't make a dime. You don't get charged anything. All it means is that it shows up. I show up in your mailbox, or I show up on your, when you go on. I'll be in your. I don't know what you call this. I'm looking at now, but I'll be one of the things you'll see on YouTube. You know, and you can go in there and. You know, see if what's going on that day, what I'm talking about. I'm back to doing this probably as much as I possibly can in the morning, and then posting the video around this time, which is around 11 o'clock. Depends how things go in the morning for me. You know, I don't move as fast as I used to. I don't move as I move slower than I used to. So anyhow, listen, do that for me, would you please? I'd just like to know you're out there. Subscribe, hit the like button. You don't have to do both, but I would appreciate it. There's 9 of you subscribing to me right now, so I hope you continue to do so. I hope I continue to bore you or make you happy or give you something to laugh at in the morning. Anyhow, that's it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.